What's up viewers, and welcome back to the channel. Today's Android streaming device comes from the Rocktek brand, who has been making waves recently in the Android TV box market. They are here with another release called the Rocktek GB1 TV Dongle. And even though it's categorized as a TV dongle, it has the appearance of a mini Android TV box, and it's one of the smallest, I might add. So in this review, we look at what this mini device has to offer, its design, firmware features, hardware performance, and its pros and cons, and you'll get to decide if this is the mini streaming device you have been waiting for. Don't go anywhere, that's up next. So I'm back after that quick unboxing. So in this purchase, you begin to see why it's classified as a TV dongle. You get the GB1 TV dongle itself, a G10 model Bluetooth voice remote with Google Assistant feature. You get a very short 6 inches HDMI cable, one USB-A to USB Type-C power delivery cable, and a user manual. So take note that it does not come with a DC power adapter and a long HDMI cable. This is because it's designed to sit behind your TV or monitor and be powered by one of the 5V USB ports. And the 6-inch HDMI cable is sufficient to reach one of its HDMI ports, and it also provides a neater setup. You do, however, have the option of using a separated DC power adapter and a longer 36 inches maximum HDMI cable. Anything longer might lose signal. So for dimensions, it measures just 2 3/4 inches wide and just about ½ inch thick. It's made entirely of plastic with a swirly pattern and the Realtek branding at the top. It's got just 2 I/O ports, one HDMI port and a USB Type-C power delivery / data port. At the front you have an LED power light, and to its base has no ventilation holes. So its first boot up starts with a very simple TV dongle splash screen, followed by the pairing of the Bluetooth remote. Then you have to complete the Google TV first startup wizard by connecting to your home Wi-Fi network and your Google account. Then you're taken to the launcher. So let's take a look at its basic system information. This TV dongle has a Netflix ESN license. It's running on Android TV OS version 12. And this is its current firmware build information with access to developer options. So before we proceed, first and foremost, I will perform 2 malware scans before I install any apps to check for any malicious scripts or bad bots. For this, I'm using Bitdefender Mobile Security, a paid solution, and DevSquid, a free malware scanner on the Google Play Store. This segment is a new addition to my Android box reviews in light of the recent FBI public bulletin about their findings of malware on certain Android boxes. So the Bitdefender app found no malware on this box, and the DevSquid app also did not find any malicious applications. So I recommend the Bitdefender Mobile Security paid subscription as one of the best user-friendly antivirus services for Android boxes. You wouldn't use your PC or Mac computer without antivirus, wouldn't you? So why would you use an Android box without one? The annual subscription is very cheap and affordable, and I placed a link in the description for you to check out their service. Staying on the topic of security, for Google certification and protection for subscription movie services such as Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus, and Max, it has Google Widevine Level 1 with HDCP 2.2 protection. Its firmware is also not rooted as shown here by the Root Checker app. With this level of DRM and no root access, it presents the right environment to attain a Netflix ESN license and to show movies in HD and 4K with Dolby Atmos. Here is a Netflix movie description which shows that it has 4K HDR with Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos. You get all Google's smart home features such as voice search and voice commands. Turn off the office lights.
Sure, turning 3 switches off.
turn on the office lights.
Okay, turning on 3 switches.
You must press the microphone button on the remote to initiate a command, as the box does not have a built-in microphone for Google's Far Field feature. Now, a quick look at its firmware features. You get 4K 2160p display up to 60 Hz. You have up to 12-bit color depth. The HDR display section can be a bit confusing, so pay attention so that you can select the best option suited to your display. The first option is Auto, which is supposed to be your adaptive HDR and Dolby Vision feature. What I found is that when selected, it's actually an Auto Dolby Vision Always On feature and Always On HDR feature. It's not like all features are off, and then the Auto option activates them when needed. When connected to a TV that does not support Dolby Vision but has HDR, the Auto feature will automatically enable the HDR Always On. But once a TV has Dolby Vision, which is the superior format, it will select Dolby Vision over HDR and have it always on. The next option is Dolby Vision On. Well, this mode is self-explanatory. Once you select it, you force Dolby Vision to be always on and it overrides all other HDR features. Next, you have Picture Quality HDR. This is simply your HDR Always On option. Next, you have SDR. This is quite the opposite. This is your HDR and Dolby Vision Always Off feature. The next option is called Future. Well, this is a new one, and it enables HLG display only while disabling all other HDR and Dolby Vision features. The input option is your Auto HDR feature, but it only works for HDR and not Dolby Vision. There is no Auto Dolby Vision feature in this list. Dolby Vision Low Latency 12-bit forces the display into Dolby Vision with a 12-bit YCbCr422 color depth display only. Dolby Vision HDR10 forces the display into HDR 10-bit mode only with no Dolby Vision. And Dolby Vision SDR forces the display into HDR 8-bit mode only with no Dolby Vision. So if you only have an HDR TV with no Dolby Vision, when connected, some of these features will not be available to select. You have 95% screen zoom option, HDMI range mode, the option to continue playing a video even if the HDMI cable is unplugged, and you have some custom brightness and color settings. You have HDMI CEC options, text scaling options, auto frame rate switching, and advanced display settings where it shows that enabled formats include HDR10, HLG, and Dolby Vision. For audio options, you have audio output mode, where you can switch between HDMI adaptive sync to EDID output and optical audio. You have MS12 preferred audio output, whether Dolby Matte aka MS12 or Force Dolby Digital Plus or Dolby Atmos only. You have audio playback effects. You can get audio output via its USB port. An option to force formats such as Dolby True HD and Dolby Digital Plus to Dolby Digital. And under advanced audio settings, you can enable HDMI pass-through. And under advanced audio settings, you can set it to auto, disable surround sound audio, or you can set it to manual selection. Under supported formats, it supports Dolby Digital, Dolby Digital Plus, Dolby True HD, Dolby Atmos with Dolby Digital Plus, Dolby Atmos with Dolby True HD, Dolby AC4, DTS Audio, and DTS HD. So it actually supports all surround sound audio formats. The question is, which of the media players do you use to get these formats to work? So let's now take a look at its system and hardware information. So the manufacturer of this chipset is Inopia, built using the Realtek hardware. It comes with 2GB of DDR4 RAM and 10GB of internal storage with Bluetooth 5.0. Its CPU is the Realtek RTD 1315C, a quad-core Cortex-A55 processor clocked at 1.7 GHz configured in 32-bit mode. The Mali G57 GPU powers its display with OpenGL ES version 3.2 support. Its network adapter is a Wi-Fi 6 model and it provides dual-band 2.4 plus 5 GHz AX Wi-Fi connectivity. Its Android version is Android 12, and you already saw that the firmware is not rooted. Under Devices, it shows that its GPU does not have Falcon support. They disabled the temperature sensor. And for audio and video decoders, for video, you have HAVC, AV1, VP9, and Dolby Vision decoders. For audio, you get Dolby Atmos EAC3, but I don't see any DTS HD decoder. I will, however, check for all surround sound audio formats in just a moment. And that's its system and hardware information. For watching YouTube videos, the Android TV version delivers up to 4K 2160p with HDR display. Watching 4K HDR and Dolby Vision self-hosted videos I believe is the most challenging. Firstly, to read external storage, you have to connect the TV dongle to a USB Type-C hub. This is the one I'm using, and you can get a link to this one in the description below. The regular USB Type-C hubs like this one does not work. So to play 4K HDR videos, the media player I recommend is the Kodi media player. All other media players have some issue in some way or the other processing a particular audio or video format. In the Kodi settings area, you have to enable export mode, set audio channels to 7.1, and enable all Dolby and DTS audio under audio pass-through. You also have to set the HDR display to input mode. This is to set it to adaptive HDR, and if your TV has Dolby Vision, you can set it to auto. So with this video, it triggers the HDR10 feature. This is an AV1 video and it also triggers the HDR10 feature. This is a Dolby Vision video and it triggers HLG. This is Dolby Vision and it triggers HDR10 with Dolby Atmos. This is HDR10 Plus and it triggers HDR10. And this is official HLG format. For surround sound audio, I recommend that you enable audio pass-through in the audio settings area and that you use the VLC media player or the Kodi media player with the box connected to your surround sound audio system. So with the available decoders, you get Dolby Atmos, Dolby Digital Plus, and Dolby Surround. You don't get Dolby True HD, DTS HD Master Audio or DTS X. So this is Dolby Atmos.
This is Dolby Atmos, the world's first object-based cinematic audio. With powerful moving audio that transcends from channels.
Next, Dolby Digital Plus.
Whether the soundscape sits the mood.
When you try to play DTS HD Master Audio, you get PCM. You get Dolby Surround. When you try to play Dolby True HD, you also get PCM.
Next, we have the center.
And if you try to play DTS:X, you get PCM. Android gaming is not recommended for this TV dongle, but you know what? I tried it anyway. Here is Shadowgun Legends, and with its Mali G57 GPU, it plays on high graphic settings really well. Also, when connected to the USB Type-C hub, you can sideload any app or game using APK files from external storage or via APK app stores.
Hello, big boy.
Now, a look at its benchmarks and where it ranks on my TV Box rankings chart. First, a look at its RAM and internal storage. It has a RAM copy speed of 2930 megabytes per second. Its internal storage has a read speed of 188 megabytes per second and a write speed of 47 megabytes per second. Next, I recorded the speeds of its dual Wi-Fi 6 bands. Based on my internet speed of 300 megabits per second, its 5 GHz band averaged around 200 megabits per second, and its 2.4 GHz band averaged around 83 megabits per second. I connected a LAN cable through the USB Type-C hub and it works. It reached the maximum speed of my network provided that the port on the hub is a gigabit LAN port, so you have that as an option to get internet. In benchmarking, its Realtek RTD 1315C CPU's single-core and multi-core threading performance, the Geekbench 5 CPU benchmark produced a score of 140 single-core and 437 multi-core. Due to it only having 2 GB of RAM with no Vulkan GPU support, it didn't qualify for any of the 3D Mark Wildlife tests. It only qualified for the old Ice Storm Extreme test, which is not a good comparison for my chart. And in the Antutu benchmark version 10.5.1, it produced a score of 126,369. So with these benchmark scores, let's see where it ranks on my TV Box rankings chart. So at the time of recording this video, the Rocktek GB1 is at position 22 based on its Antutu benchmark score. But please keep in mind that its Antutu benchmark score will be higher each time a new version of the Antutu benchmark is released. So don't expect this TV dongle to outperform, let's say, a hexacore or an octa-core Android TV box as shown here on the chart. To gain access to this chart, you can use the link provided in the description below. You also have quick access to its purchase link right here, so see the link in the description. In summary, now I'm not going to tell you, for the sake of views or affiliate commissions, that this TV dongle is a high-end model. In fact, it's a very cheap $60 Google certified TV dongle designed solely for streaming paid subscription movie services and a bit of APK streaming and nothing else. What you saw me do in this video is experimental and will only interest the hardware enthusiast who would like to see the limits of its hardware. With that said, if you are a hardware enthusiast, you can get some good performance with its Mali G57 GPU. But don't expect it to last very long if you intend to use it that way, for which it was not intended. So that brings to an end this review. So once again, special thanks to the Rocktek brand for providing today's Android device for review. If you would like to grab one of these inexpensive streaming TV dongles, I placed a link in the description below, so you can check it out. So if you like these types of videos, then click the like button as it helps with the search engine rankings and YouTube recommendations. If you would like to keep updated about the latest Android TV box hardware and releases, then click the subscribe button and ring the notifications bell to be notified each time I release a new video. offer one of these boxes featured in my videos at second-hand prices, or decide just to do a simple giveaway. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Stay connected and see you in the next one.